The bus stop. Olivia's mom, Augie, Jack, and Daisy come down the stoop just as I'm saying goodbye to Olivia. Slightly awkward since we're in the middle of a nice long kiss. Hey guys, says the mom, pretending not to see anything, but the two boys are giggling. Hi, Mrs. Pullman. Please call me Isabel. Justin, she says again. It's like the third time she's told me this, so I really need to start calling her that. I'm heading home, I say, as if to explain. Oh, are you heading to the subway? She says, following the dog with a newspaper. Can you walk Jack to the bus stop? No problem. That's okay with you, Jack? The mom asks him and he shrugs. Justin, can you stay with him till the bus comes? Of course. We all say our goodbye. Olivia winks at me. You don't have to stay with me, says Jack, as we're walking up the block. I take the bus by myself all the time. Augie's mom is way too overprotective. He's got a low, gravelly voice, like a little tough guy. He kind of looks like one of those little rascal kids in old black and white movies, like he should be wearing a newsboy cap and knickers. We get to the bus stop, and the schedule says the bus will be there in 8 minutes. I'll wait with you, I tell him. Up to you, he shrugs. Can I borrow $1? I want some gum. I fish $1 out of my pocket and watch him cross the street to the grocery store on the corner. He seems too small to be walking around by himself, somehow. Then I think how when I was that young, I was taking the subway by myself, way too young. I'm going to be an overprotective dad someday. I know it. My kids are going to know I care. I'm waiting there for a minute or two when I notice 3 kids walking up the block from the other direction. They walk right past the grocery store, but one of them looks inside and nudges the other 2. And then they all back up and look inside. I can tell they're up to no good, all elbowing each other, laughing. One of them is Jack's height, but the other 2 look much bigger, more like teens. They hide behind the fruit stand in front of the store, and then when Jack walks out, they trail behind him, making loud throw-up noises. Jack casually turns around at the corner to see who else are there, and they run away, high-fiving each other and laughing. Little jerks. Jack crosses the street like nothing happened and stands next to me at the bus stop blowing bubbles. Friends of yours? I finally say. Ha, he said. He's trying to smile, but I can see he's upset. Just some jerks from my school, he says. A kid named Julian and his 2 gorillas, Henry and Miles. Do they bother you like that a lot? No, they've never done that before. They never do it that in school or they get kicked out. Julian doesn't even live around here, so I guess it's just bad luck running into him. Oh, okay, nod. It's not a big deal, I assure him. We are both automatically ducked down Amforth Avenue to see the bus coming. We're sorting of a war, he says after a minute, if that explains everything. Then he pulls out the crumpled piece of loose paper from his jeans pockets and gives it to me. I unfold it, and it's a list of names in 3 columns. He's turned the whole grade against me, says Jack. Not the whole grade, I point out. Looking down at the list. He leaves me notes in my locker that says stuff like everybody hates you. You should tell your teacher about that. Jack looks at me like I'm an idiot and shakes his head. Anyways, you have all these neutrals, I say, pointing to the list. If you get them on your side, things will even up a bit. Yeah, well, that's not really going to happen, he sarcastically says. Why not? He shoots me another look, and I look at him like he shoots me another look like I'm absolutely the stupidest guy he's ever talked to in the world. What? I say. He shakes his head a little like I'm a hopeless. Let's just say he says I'm friends with someone who isn't exactly the most popular kid in school. Then it hits me. What he's not coming out and saying is August. This is all about being friends with August. And he doesn't want to tell me because I'm his sister's boyfriend. Yeah, of course that makes sense. We see the bus come down Amforth Avenue. Well, just hang in there, I tell him, handing back the paper. Middle school is about as bad as it gets, and then it gets better. Everything will work out. We wave bye when he gets on the bus, and I watch it pull away. When I get to the subway station 2 blocks away, I see the same 3 kids hanging out in front of the bagel place next door. They're still laughing and yucking each other like they're some kind of gangbangers, like rich boys in expensive skinny jeans acting tough. Don't know what possesses me, but I take my glasses off and put them in my pocket, tuck the fiddle case under my arm so the pointy side is facing up. I walk over to them, my face scrunched up, mean looking, and they look at me, laughing, dying on their lips when they see me, ice cream cones at long angles. Yo, listen up, don't mess with Jack. I say really slowly, gritting my teeth. My voice is all Clint Eastwood tough guy. Mess with him again, and you'll be very, very sorry. Then I tap my fiddle, cause of effect. Got it? They nod in unison, ice cream dripping onto their hands. Good, I nodded mysteriously. Then sprint down the subway 2 steps at a time. Rehearsal. The play is taking up most of my time as we get closer to opening night. Lots of lines to remember, long monologues where it's just me talking. Olivia had this great idea though, and it's helping. I have my fiddle with me on stage and play it a bit while I'm talking. It's not written that way, but Mr. Davenport thinks it adds an extra folksy element to have the stage manager plucking on the fiddle for me. So it's great because whenever I need a second to remember the next line, I just play the little old Soldier Joy on my fiddle, and it buys me some time. I've gotten to know the kids in the show a lot better, especially the pink-haired girl who plays Emily. Turns out she's not nearly as stuck up as I thought she was, given the crowd she hangs with. Her boyfriend, this built jock who's big deal on the varsity sports circuit at school, it's a whole world that I have nothing to do with, so I'm kind of surprised that this Miranda girl turns out to be kind of nice. One day we're sitting on the floor backstage waiting for the tech guys to fix the main spotlight. So how long have you and Olivia been dating? She asked out of the blue. About 4 months now, I say. Have you met her brother? She says casually. It's so unexpected that I can't hide my surprise. You know Olivia's brother, I ask. Via didn't tell you? We used to be good friends. I've known Augie since he was a baby. Oh, I think I knew that, I answer. I didn't want to let on that Olivia had not told me anything about this. I don't want to let on how surprised I am that she called her Via. Nobody but Olivia's family calls her Via. And this pink-haired girl, who I thought was a stranger, is calling her Via. Miranda laughs and shakes her head, but doesn't say anything. There's an awkward silence, then she starts fishing through the bag and pulls out her wallet. She rifles through a couple of pictures and then hands me one. It's of a little boy in the park on a sunny day. He's wearing shorts and a t-shirt and has an astronaut helmet that covers his entire head. It was like 100 degrees that day, she says, smiling at the picture, but he wouldn't take the helmet off for anything. He wore it for like 2 years straight. In the winter, in the summer, at the beach, it was crazy. Yeah, I've seen the pictures in Olivia's house. I'm the one who gave him the helmet, she says. She sounds a little proud of that. She takes the picture and carefully inserts it back into her wallet. Cool, I answer. So you're okay with it, she says, looking at me. I look blankly at her. Okay with what? She raises her eyebrow like she doesn't believe me. You know what I'm talking about, she says, and takes a long drink from her water. Let's face it, she continues, the universe is not kind to Augie Pullman. Bird. Why didn't you tell me that you and Miranda Navis used to be friends, I say to Olivia the next day. I'm really annoyed at her for not telling me this. It's not a big deal, she answers defensively, looking at me like I'm weird. It is a big deal, I say. I looked like an idiot. How could you not tell me? You always acted like you don't even know her. I don't know her, she answers quickly. I don't know who the pink-haired cheerleader is. The girl I knew was a total dork who collected American Girl dolls. Oh, come on, Olivia. You come on. You could have mentioned it to me at some point, I say quietly, pretending not to notice the big fat tears that are suddenly rolling down her cheeks. She shrugs, fighting back bigger tears. It's okay, I'm not mad, I say, thinking the tears are about me. I honestly don't care if you're mad, she says spitefully. Oh, that's real nice, I fire back. She doesn't say anything. The tears are about to come. Olivia, what's the matter, I say. She shakes her head like she doesn't want to talk about it, but all of a sudden the tears start rolling like a mile a minute. I'm sorry, it's not you, Justin. I'm just crying because I'm not crying because of you, she finally says through the tears. Why are you crying? Because I'm an awful person. What are you talking about? She's not looking at me, wiping her tears in the palm of her hand. I haven't told my parents about the show, she says quickly. I shake my head because I didn't quite get what she was telling me. That's okay, I say. It's not too late. There's still tickets available. I don't want them to come to the show, Justin, she interrupts impatiently. Don't you see what I'm saying? I don't want them to come. If they come, they'll bring Augie and with them. And I just don't feel like here she is hit by another round of crying. That doesn't let her finish talking. I put my arm around her. I'm an awful person, she says through tears. You're not an awful person, I say softly. Yes, I am, she sobs. It's just been so nice being in a new school where nobody knows about him, you know? Nobody whispering about it behind my back. It's just been so nice, Justin. But if he comes to the play, then everyone will talk about it and everyone will know. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I swear I've never been embarrassed by him before. I know, I say, soothing her. You're entitled, Olivia. You've dealt with a lot your whole life. Olivia reminds me of a bird sometimes, how her feathers get all ruffled when she's mad. And when she's fragile like this, she's a little lost bird looking for her nest. So I give her my wing to hide under. The universe. I can't sleep tonight. My head is full of thoughts that won't turn off. Lines from my monologues, elements from the periodic table that I'm supposed to be memorizing, theorems I'm supposed to be understanding, Olivia, Augie, Miranda's words keep coming back. The universe was not kind to Augie Pullman. I'm thinking about that a lot and everything it means. She's right about that. The universe was not kind to Augie Pullman. What did the little kid ever do to deserve his sentence? What did his parents do? Or Olivia? She once mentioned that the same doctor told her parents that the odds of someone getting the same combination of syndromes that came together to make Augie's face were like 1 in 4 million. So it doesn't make the universe a giant lottery then. You purchase a ticket when you're born. It's all just random whether you get a good ticket or a bad ticket. It's just bad luck. My head swirls on this, but then softer thoughts soothe, like a flatted third on a major chord. No, it's not all random. If it really was all random, the universe would abandon us completely. The universe doesn't. It takes care of its most fragile creations in a way we can't see. Like with parents who adore you blindly, a big sister who feels guilty for being human over you, and a little gravelly voiced kid whose friends have left him over you, and even a pink-haired girl who carries your picture in her wallet. Maybe it's the lottery, but the universe makes it all even out in the end. The universe takes care of all its birds. Part 6, August. What a piece of work is a man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, and how express and admirable, in action like an angel, in apprehension how like a god, how beauty of a world. Shakespeare, Hamlet. North Pole. The Spud lamp was a big hit at the science fair. Jack and I got an A for it. It was the first A Jack got in any class all year long, so he was psyched. All the science fair projects were set up on a table in the gym. It was the same setup as the Egyptian Museum back in December, except this time there were volcanoes and molecular drones on the table instead of pyramids and pharaohs. And inside, all the kids were taking their parents around to look at everybody else's artifacts. We had to stand by our tables while the parents wandered around the room and came to us one by one. Here's the math on that one. 60 kids in the grade equals 60 set of parents and doesn't include grandparents. So that's at a minimum 120 pairs of eyes that find their way over me. Eyes that aren't used to me as their kids' eyes are by now. It's like how a compass needle always points north. No matter which way you're facing, all eyes of our compasses, and I'm like the North Pole to them. That's why I still don't like school events that include parents. I don't hate them as much as I did at the beginning of the school year, like the Thanksgiving Sharing Festival. That was the worst one, I think. That was the first time I had to face the parents all at once. The Egyptian Museum came after that, but that one was okay because I got to dress up as a mummy and nobody noticed me. Then came winter concerts, which I totally hated because I had to sing in the chorus. Not only can I not sing at all, but I felt like I was on display. The New Year art show wasn't quite as bad, but it was still annoying. They put up our artwork in the hallway all over the school and had the parents check it out. And it was like starting school all over again, having unsuspecting adults pass me on the stairway. Anyways, it's not that I care that people react to me. Like I've said a gazillion times, I'm used to that by now. I don't let it bother me. It's like when you go outside, it's drizzling a little. You don't put on a boot for the drizzle. You don't even open an umbrella. You walk through and barely notice your hair getting wet. But when it's a huge gym full of parents, the drizzle becomes like this total hurricane. Everyone's eyes hit you like the wall of water. Mom and Dad are around my table a lot, along with Jack's parents. It's kind of funny how parents actually end up forming the same little groups as their kids. Like my parents and Jack's and Summer's mom all like and get along with each other. And I see Julian's parents hanging out with Henry's parents and Miles' parents, and even the two Max's parents hang out together. It's so funny. I told my mom and dad about it later when we were walking home, and they thought it was a funny observation. I guess it's true that like seeks like, said Mom. The Augie doll. For a while, the war was all we talked about. February was when it was really at the worst. There was that's when particularly nobody was talking to us. Julian had started leaving notes in our lockers. The notes to Jack were stupid, like, you stink big cheese and nobody likes you anymore. I got notes like freak and another one that said, get out of our school, orc. Summer thought we should report these notes to Mrs. Rubin, who was in the middle school dean, and even Mr. Tushman, but we thought that it would be like snitching. Anyways, it's not like we didn't leave notes too, though ours weren't nearly as mean. They were kind of funny and sarcastic. One was, you're so pretty, Julian. I love you. Will you marry me? Love, Bella. The other was, love your hair. XOL, Bella. Another was, you're a babe. Tickle my feet. XO, Bella. Bella was a made-up person that me and Jack came up with. She had really gross habits like eating green stuff with in between her toes and sucking on her knuckles. And we figured someone like that would have a real crush on Julian, who looked and acted like someone from a Kids Bop commercial. There were also a couple of times in February when Julian, Miles, and Henry played tricks on Jack. They didn't play tricks on me, I think, because they knew if they got caught bullying me, it would be a big time trouble for them. Jack, they figured, was the easier target. So one time they stole his gym shorts and played monkey in the middle with them in the locker room. Another time, Miles, who sat next to Jack in homeroom, spiked Jack's worksheet off his desk, crumpled it in a ball, and tossed it to Julian across the room. This wouldn't have happened if Mrs. Petzo had been there, of course, but there was a substitute teacher that day. And subs never really know what's going on. Jack was good about this stuff. He never let them see he was upset, though I think sometimes he was. The other kids in the grade knew about the war. Except for Savannah's group, the girls were neutral at first, but by March they were getting sick of it, and so were some of the boys. Like another time when Julian was dumping some pencil sharpener shavings into Jack's backpack, Emma, who was usually tight with them, grabbed the backpack out of Julian's hand and returned it to Jack. It was starting to feel like the majority of the boys weren't buying into Julian anymore. Then a few weeks ago, Julian started spreading this ridiculous rumor that Jack had hired some hitman to get him, and Miles and Henry. This lie was so pathetic that people were actually laughing at him behind his back. At that point, any boys who were still on his side now jumped ship and were clearly neutral. So by the end of March, only Miles and Henry were on Julian's side, and I think even they were getting tired of the war by then. I'm pretty sure everyone stopped playing the plague game behind my back, too. No one really cringes if I bump into them anymore, and people borrow my pencils without acting like my pencils has cooties. People even joke around me with me sometimes now. Like the other day, I saw Maya writing a note to Ellie on a piece of Ugly Doll stationery, and I don't know why, but I just kind of randomly said, "Do you know the guy who created Ugly Dolls that based them on me?" Maya looked at me with her eyes wide open, like she totally believed me. Then when she realized I was only kidding, she thought it was the funniest thing in the world. "You're so funny, August," she said. And then she told Ellie and some of the other girls what I had said, and they all thought it was funny too. Like at first they were shocked, but then when they saw I was laughing about it, they knew it was okay to laugh about it. And the next day I found a little Ugly Doll keychain sitting on my chair with a nice little note from Maya that said, "For the nicest Augie doll in the world, XO, Maya." 6 months ago, that stuff would have never happened, but now it happens more and more. Also, people have been really nice about hearing about the hearing aids I started wearing.